Oh, hello, my Chunsters. My name is the Chun, and it's time to have some fun with Host Pro 2.0, Episode 9. I believe this is Episode 9. I didn't check the episode list to see if it is Episode 9 or not, but I think it is. A couple of things, admissions right off the bat. First things first is I was extremely late for getting back from work, so I didn't really have enough time to line up the topics the way I wanted them to, so the usual meticulously planned stuff that you see on this show isn't going to be happening today because I haven't had time to meticulously plan it. Another admission. Marcus has work at 5 a.m. tomorrow, so he won't be with us because he's gone to bed. God bless him. He needs his sleep. Don't blame him. It's going to be shit tomorrow for him. I can't be bothered to explain why, and plus I'm probably not allowed to explain why, but it will be. So yes, you're stuck with me, I'm afraid. It's just me, and I'm not even prepared. As you can see, I'm not even properly dressed. I'm in a dressing gown, topless, for all the female fans' enjoyment. I'm also incredibly tired, because I didn't get a good sleep last night. Well, that's a lie. I did, but it was just shorter sleep last night because the clocks went forward an hour, so I lost an hour's worth of sleep, which I probably should have gotten. But, yeah. So I will be drinking this. This is, hang on, if I hold it from the bottom, you can see the logo there. Product placement. This is Mixed Up X Flavor Energy Drink. Classic stimulation energy drink. Tastes better than Red Bull, I think. I think Red Bull tastes a little bit less bit more watered down than this, actually. This is a Lidl product. So it's cheap. Very, very cheap. I mean, a can of Red Bull this size will cost you 99p. This cost me 30. So there you go. Product placement. Why not? That's good. That's good. Right. Well, there are a couple of topics I would like to try and do. First of all, I thought, well, since I'm going to be by myself, there's no harm in talking about a car or two. And then I ran into a couple of difficulties because, you see, Formula One is tonight. Well, it's not tonight. It's already happened. That's the problem. The Formula One race in Malaysia happened in the morning. The program, I think the race actually started 9 p.m. English time, which means if I go looking for car news, I'm probably going to find who won the race. And I haven't seen the race yet, and I really desperately want to not know who wins, because it just loses its sting when you know who wins. It's just finding out how they won, and it's just not as exciting, because if a guy was like ahead by 30 seconds on like 20 laps away from the end of the race, but gets overtaken on the last lap, you lose the excitement of that, because you know he overtook him on the last lap, if you know what I mean. So I didn't go looking for car news in case I came across the F1 news. And also I can't talk about the F1 race because I haven't seen the F1 race. So I was a little bit limited on what I could do automobile-wise. And then I realised, well, hey, I could give my analysis on the qualifying. It's not quite the same thing. I understand. You guys probably wanted the full race. But it's not going to be happening. First thing I want to do actually is find my stream so I can check it's all working. Yep, that's all working nicely on that page. Is it working on the YouTube page? That's the only question. Go to Create Studio. Let's click on my channel and click on Live Events and see if it's working. It is. I've got that down to a T now. And I'll mute that just so I know it's working. There you go. It's a peace of mind thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I was going to do the F1 qualifying. I know it's not going to have quite the same sting as doing the full race, particularly since the full race has actually happened, and I don't know what happened. And do not put a comment telling me the result, or I will kill you. I will come through your computer screen like something out of the ring. I will get some makeup or some leaves, stick them on my face so I look hideous, and I will take this can of Mixed Up energy drink. I will tip it down your throat. I will force feed you energy drink. And then I'm going to force feed you the can in which it came in. I'm literally going to shove the full can down your throat until you choke to death on the can of the tasty energy drink which I just forced you to drink after bursting through your computer, looking hideous. Do you understand the consequences, the severe, punishing consequences, if you tell me who won the race? Because I've sacrificed the goodness of this podcast for it. So don't you dare. So qualifying. There was some interesting stuff in qualifying. There's a thunderstorm, as always, in Malaysia. That's fairly standard. But the interesting things that happened. One, Felipe Nasr did not make it into Quali 2, which was quite surprising because he did finish in 5th in Australia. And, okay, yeah, only 11 cars finished that race, but that's still a very good result for a rookie on his first day out. So that was impressive. And then we had the McLarens. Now, the McLarens were interesting. Yes, they were pretty much dead last, except for the Manners, which is basically to be expected. I mean, the Manners, like I said I think it was 2 episodes ago, they turned up at the Australian Grand Prix without a way to start their car, which is basically like turning up at a football match without a ball. It's just not going to work. So, yes, Manor were dead last, but McLaren were the next lot ahead. Jenson Button beat Fernando Alonso, which, okay, you could kind of attribute to the fact that Jenson's got a bit more running in this McLaren. He's done more laps. He's done a whole race in it. Fernando Alonso's crashed out in the winter testing session in Catalonia, so maybe not so up to speed with this car yet. So yes, that was a bit interesting. I mean, even with all those X factors, I don't think many people would expect Jenson Button to beat Fernando Alonso in qualifying. Possibly maybe once or twice in the race, but qualifying pace has never really been Jenson's strong suit. Part of the problem for that is that he just has a smooth driving style. It's basically, he's incredibly smooth at the steering wheel. He doesn't aggressively go with the wheel. He's very smooth with it. What that does is it doesn't really scrub the top front tires so much. He doesn't get the heat in the tires that other drivers will. So he doesn't quite have as much grip coming from the mechanical. It doesn't have so much mechanical grip coming from the tires for his lap. So that's why he tends not to do so well in qualifying. But hey, he beat Fernando Alonso, so that's a very good result. Another good result from McLaren as a whole is they're only 3 tenths away from Felipe Nasr. Doesn't sound good, I admit. However, when you think of it like this, in Australia, there are 1.5 seconds off the entire pack, and now they're 3 tenths away. So when you look at it like that, it's actually not so bad. It means they've basically caught the pack up by 1.2 seconds in one race. So, yeah. And plus, Jenson reckons the race pace is a bit better, so you never know. Jenson Button has gone on record as saying the car feels quite good to drive, and that there is a lot more potential from this thing. Like, there's potential to make seriously huge leaps and bounds. And I believe him. Jenson's not really known to be a liar. You know, sometimes you get drivers who just basically toe the company line. Jenson, to a degree, does, but he's always pretty honest with what he says. So I'm going to believe him on that. And Alonso's also towing that line. So, you know, whatever. Hope at McLaren maybe, because in one race they've caught up by a second, you know, which is huge. So you never know. If they catch up by a second each race, hell, they'll be winning by the British Grand Prix. So that would be good. I'm not going to predict that as what's going to happen, by the way. I think it's just literally they're running more engine power. I think they're running a more aggressive engine mode to see what the engine can do, as opposed to really just trying to get it to the end of the Grand Prix, which, you know, you can turn down engine power in F1. It's not really a secret. So anyway, maybe turning up the engine power yielded a second, but I don't think so. I think it's more than that. There must be some improvements being made there. I mean, I know Force India had minor improvements for their car this week. And then the rest of the qualifying wasn't so amazing. Pretty standard fare for the rest of qualifying, if I'm honest. Except, well, Raikkonen went out, actually, in Quali 2. Did not find the space in the traffic. Rain came down, that was it. So Raikkonen is out of place. So this is all hearsay. You will all know about this if you've watched the race by now. So will I, probably by the time you watch this, because I don't think anyone's watching this thing live. But yeah, if you, my prediction is that Raikkonen is out of position, and I think it's pretty clear that at Malaysia, Ferrari seem to have the second fastest car. Obviously, I don't think it's quite as fast as Mercedes. It's near as makes a difference. Damn it, it's really not that far off. Not as far away as it was in Australia, at least. Anyway, yeah, so Kimi Raikkonen's in 11th place. I would expect to see him move up the grid because, like I say, the Ferrari is a quick car. Malaysia, you can overtake at Malaysia. So, yeah, I expect some fireworks from Kimi Raikkonen. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Another story is Max Verstappen once again doing a very good job. I think he qualified 7th. Which is very good going. And I mean, he was running in 6th, I believe, in Australia before his engine conked out on him. So if he finishes this race, he may be on for some good haul of points. I think he'll do well to beat Felipe Nasser's point haul in Australia, but you never know. And then we have the big story. Sebastian Vettel was only 900ths of a second. Wait. Yeah, 900ths of a second slower than Lewis Hamilton. Now, there is a bit of a caveat to that story, and it's this. Apparently, Hamilton said he's happy that his bank lap was fast enough for pole, which basically means he probably had another 4/10 in that car. Still, that's noteworthy because that means that even if he does have an extra couple of tenths, maybe, which is normally how things go, if you like push it a little bit, you can get an extra couple of tenths. Maybe not to the point where you could rake a whole second out of it. But that's where I'm going to take the news storiness from. Because Hamilton's good in the wet. I don't think Sebastian Vettel is as good in the wet. He's known to be quite decent, though. And the thing is this. In Australia, Mercedes were basically 1.2, 1.5 seconds faster than everybody else. And it was just sheer dominance. This weekend, Ferrari on 900ths, okay, it was a bank lap, so maybe an extra 5/10, maybe an extra. So basically, Ferrari only half a second off the pace. That's a pretty big step forward. And I'll tell you what, if Ferrari can continue to develop their car at that kind of rate, then you're looking at what could potentially be a competitive season for the Constructors' title. Possibly. It just depends if they catch them in time. I would love to see them do it because obviously Ferrari they're the legendary team in F1. They are the legends. They are Ric Flair, they're Hollywood Hogan, they are the legendary team. They've been there they've been in the championship ever since it was introduced as the F1 championship in 1950. They raced a car in 1950, still racing a car now. They are the legends. There's so many legendary drivers have raced for them as well. You've got your Niki Laudas. You got was Fangio? Yes, I think Fangio did race for them. Yeah, countless. There's no point trying to. Gilles Villeneuve, of course. Prost. There's virtually no point trying to name them all because there's hundreds of them, hundreds of legendary drivers. Of course, also, I probably should mention, if I'm mentioning legendary drivers, and I have named a few, so I should just go ahead and name the 7-time world champion, record holder in that respect, Michael Schumacher. So Ferrari has a lineage, and it would be fantastic to see them take the fight to the Mercedes. I would love to see that, and I watched F1 back when Michael Schumacher was dominating. I did. And I suppose it makes me a bit of a glutton for... I wasn't ever really a huge Schumacher fan at the time. Not really. I always respected him. When Damon Hill initially retired, I was like, I'm going to support Michael Schumacher because, supporting a winner. So, why not? But then again, I've never really had full support for him because then Jenson Button came along, took it away. I was like, yeah, back to British. Thing is, I've always liked Schumacher deep down. Not really to the point where I'm a fan, but I've always liked him as a driver and I always thought he was very good. Obviously, you don't win 7 world titles if you're not very good. So yeah, it would. I suppose the thing is, though, with Schumacher winning all the time, here's the point. I was going to make. You always got this national anthem combination. The German, da, 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 followed by the Italian, da, 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 da. And the thing is, if Sebastian Vettel starts winning with Ferrari, we're going to be blessed with that traditional national anthem combination, German, Italian, in that order. The national anthem combination that dominated F1 through the early 2000s could possibly be back. And I don't know, I suppose it makes me a glutton for punishment that I want that back, but I want that back. It would just feel good to have that back in F1. So, yeah, I would quite like to see that happen. I would quite like to see Sebastian Vettel win a couple of races with Ferrari, because I think it'd just be nice. It would be a hit of nostalgia, I think. And not to mention, Germany really needs an F1 superstar right now. That said, Sebastian Vettel should already be a superstar in Germany. He's a 4-time world champion. They should really be, on his back. But they're not. And I think part of the problem is something that David Coulthard alluded to in the qualifying build-up show. I think German coverage for F1 is now pay-per-view, which isn't good. If you want mass exposure, pay-per-view channels just aren't good for it. And yeah, so who knows? The situation in Germany is a completely different story, really. But yes, it would be nice to see Ferrari take the fight to Mercedes this year. That's the true story. That's about this year. That's about the qualifying analysis. On my hair is annoying me because it's not staying put. I'm trying to grow my hair out. I'm trying on long hair. I think I'm wondering if it would suit me. Is my deal. I wonder if long hair would suit me quite nicely. It might, and it might not. You never know. Why did I get inspired to do that? Don't have a clue. I just don't. Yeah, I think that's basically covered the F1 analysis. I did send a text to Marcus saying what I might potentially do. So let's consult because I always send Marcus a list of topics so you can take a little look. F1 quality analysis. Oh, a car, yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I've got loads to do. Yeah, that'd still work. So. See, I've got a topic which is trying to force its way into my head somewhere here, but it's not quite doing it enough. I hate it when that happens. When you get a part of a thought, don't you hate that? When you get part of a thought coming into your brain, you can feel it trying to force its way into your brain, formulate into a full cohesive thought, and then all of a sudden it doesn't, and it's blocking what else you want to do. So here's the thing, right? Whilst we're here, whilst I'm in between topics, and I've had this thought block out my brain, let's go with let's talk about the section of the show I want to try and set up. The idea is it's going to be a Q&A, possibly for maybe 20 minutes show. We do a Q&A with your questions to us, or your questions to whatever guest I manage to line up in the future, which you never know. I might actually be able to land a guest in the future. It might happen. One day, you never know. You may just see Roger Federer pop up on the show, and if you want to ask him questions, go right ahead. Send in your questions to me. Send in any questions you want. If I do end up with some situation like that, though, I will try and make sure the guest is arranged quite well in advance and you know about it so that you can get your questions in. And then we'll ask your questions to whichever guest I have. It probably won't be the caliber of Roger Federer, but I'm just saying it could be. Dream on, John, dream on. But you know what I mean. So even if we don't have a guest, you can send in questions to me and Marcus, and we will try and answer them as best as we can, and hopefully in as funny a manner as we can. So there's that. That's thing. That's business. That's done. That's taken care of. You guys know to send in your questions to me and Marcus, and we will answer them. If Marcus is here, which he isn't because he's working at 5 a.m. tomorrow, and as you can imagine, if you're working at 5 a.m., you've got to be up at 4 a.m., which means even if he were to do the show and go to sleep immediately as the show ended, it's only 6 hours, and for the type of work he's doing, it's not enough. So that's why Marcus isn't with me. Sorry about that. So one of the things I saw on my message to Marcus about the possible topics for today were would you rathers. So let's take a look at some would you rathers because they're often interesting. That's an interesting one. Would you rather chug a mug of slime or do 20 push-ups with a kid on your back? Now, I suppose this is supposed to make me feel awkward, right? I'm supposed to think, ooh, would I rather do the disgusting mug of slime or would I rather look like a paedophile doing 20 push-ups with a kid on your back? It's easy. I'd rather do 20 push-ups with a kid on my back. One, because doing that isn't sexual. There's nothing sexual about that, so there's nothing pedophilic about it. And plus the kid adds extra weight to the push-ups, which means it develops my arms better. So that's a pretty easy one. That was really easy. I mean, who wants to chug a mug of slime? It's like, or do 20 push-ups with some extra weight. Easy. That's really, really, really rubbish. Would you rather be able to stop time for 1 minute once a day or see 1 minute into the future once a day? Stop time, probably. The amount that I can do in a minute is a bit ridiculous, so I'd rather just stop time and get an extra minute on my day. There's not really much point seeing a minute into the future. It's like, wow, whoop-de-doo. It's like, if I could see in 1 minute into the future right now, what could I do? What could I do if I could see 1 minute into the future right now? I would see me doing a podcast. Pointless. I know I'm going to be doing a podcast 1 minute into the future. I've got more topics, so that's rubbish. So I'd rather stop time for 1 minute a day because if I stop time for 1 minute right now, I might be able to line up a new topic. So that actually has some uses. Would I rather go to the past or the future with present things? So I suppose he's basically saying, would I rather go into the past with an F1 car today or into the future with an F1 car today? Something like that. Not that extreme, obviously. He's just thinking about regular stuff like toothbrushes and beefers, whatever. Don't know, really. That's a difficult one. I'll probably go into the future. I'd say the reason for that is how stuff from today depends on how far into the future you go. Like if I were to go 500 years into the future with my television, it would be an antique. Okay, it would be an antique, and there would be no TVs, no Samsung TVs in that condition from this year in that area of the future. So if I just to take that TV into the future with me, I could sell it off for £1 million as an antiquity, probably. You know, not that we're ever going to find out if that is possible. Once, maybe 500 years, maybe 400 years after I'm dead, I might be able to find out. Maybe visit back as a spirit and find out if that type of TV would sell for that kind of money. But I'd rather go forwards, and then you know I could sell my microphone for £1 million, my beast, you know, because they're all antiques. They become collectibles, you see. And then I could get a lot of money and live probably quite comfortably in the future. Now, if I was to go to the past, I'll probably get burned for being a witch. If I showed them a Samsung TV, they'd probably burn me for being a witch. How do you make picture appear in movement? And plus, there's nothing to record anything with because it's the past. So there's no TV cameras to make stuff appear on my TV. So it's basically useless back then. And they're like, what is this thing? Is it supposed to be a decoration? It's like, yeah, it's supposed to be more than that. It's like it's supposed to be a TV. And they're like, what is a TV? Well, imagine you could see something from another country. Watch it. What do you mean, other countries? There's no such thing as other countries, you weirdo. So, yeah, I'd rather go into the future, I think. Makes more sense to me. Yeah, Yeah, it makes more sense to me to just go into the future, I think. Anyway, let's do one more of those. What the hell? Wow. Okay, this is a weird one. Would you rather do homework, stick with me here, or would you rather lick a camel's pussy? You know what? If I do homework, then no one's happy because I'm doing homework. It's all me. So I'm going to take the high road here, and I'm going to lick a camel's pussy. Because you know why? If I lick a camel's pussy, then that camel is happy. Bestiality, but at least the camel's happy. If I do homework, no one's happy. Least of all me. And if I lick a camel's pussy, then hey, I'm getting action. Works for me. Can't believe I just said that. But I did. I'm gonna have to live with that now. That's it. I must end it now. Wow. I did say that. Okay. I just brought this whole thing to a screeching halt. Where do you go from there? Where do you go from licking a camel's pussy? Well, straight to Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, of course, because that was a good match. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, those of you who don't watch wrestling, this is one of those matches that you watch because it would get you interested in wrestling. Why? Because it was fucking awesome. WWE Network exclusive NXT. It was NXT episode 270 or something like that. Basically, we had Finn Balor, who is turning into one of the most over talents I think that WWE has. And that's for a number of reasons. Microphone-wise, yeah, not great, but adequate, solid. I'm not seeing him do an in-ring promo as of yet, so I don't know quite how he'd connect with a live audience. He only ever does I've only ever seen him do interviews and backstage segments at the moment, or at least that's the only thing I can think of in my head that he's done. In WWE at least. Obviously in New Japan as Prince Devitt, I think he was in front of audiences all the time, but yeah, that's a different story. I'm not going to bother getting into that right now. So anyway, yeah, we had Finn Balor come out, and I was about to talk about why he's getting over, wasn't I? Just finish that thought off quickly. So yeah, adequate mic skills. He's also got a very good look, particularly with the body paint. When he paints himself up as the demon, that is pretty cool. So yeah, he's got the look. He's quite a muscular bloke as well, so that helps. He's also got a pretty cool entrance, which helps. For those of you who don't know, they play some really epic music, which and he also plays off the music as well. There's a bit where it goes da 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 da, which out of context sounds shit, but trust me, in the context of the song, it's epic. And as he does it, he raises his arms towards the roof. He's like displays. The lights go bright white, and flash in sequence with what he's doing. So that happened. So yeah, that's there. That's on top of all this, Finn Balor is an incredibly good in-ring worker. From what I've seen, he is exciting to watch. He has a lot of flashy moves, and he's very, very exciting to watch. Then you have Kevin Owens, who me and Marcus have preached the values of Kevin Owens to you, and if you don't know how good Kevin Owens is by now, there's nothing I can say to make you realize how good he is. That's just a fact. But I'm going to try anyway. Kevin Owens has got the look. He looks like a tough, mean bastard. He looks like somebody you don't want to fight. So he's got that going for him. Plus, I have seen him do in-ring promos, and they're good. Kevin Owens is a guy who can talk. He hasn't shown that so much yet in NXT. I think it's just the type of promos he's been doing. But in Ring of Honor, fuck me, this guy could engage the crowds. So then you have the entrance, which is fairly standard fare, but it works for him. So, and it looks good, and it's like, okay, somebody's about to get killed. Then you've got the chant factor. The chant factor is, for those of you who don't know Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen, there's a regular chant which includes something, his name, something. So at the moment he's talking about fight me, right? So it's fight Owens fight, or speech Steen speech, thanks Steen thanks in Ring of Honor for what he did in Ring of Honor. So stuff like that, that's chantability. You can chant that and people know you're in support of Kevin Owens. And on top of all of this, he is insanely good in the ring for his size as well. If all you know is Samoa Joe, watch Kevin Owens. Trust me, Kevin Owens is something else. We haven't seen it from him recently. We haven't seen it since the match at CJ Parker's debut. But he did a senton over the ropes, a running senton over the ropes from a man who's, I think, around 270 pounds. He's a big guy to be doing cannibal sentons. It's like when you see Luke Harper do a suicide dive, only a bit more impressive because it's a senton. And it's like, whoa, that's impressive. Then you've got the cannibal senton, and there's so many moves, so many. And Kevin Owens he's good with psychology as well. He knows when to do spots, and he knows how to draw people into a crowd. If you don't believe me, just watch his matches. Watch this match with Finn Balor. I mean, this match with Finn Balor, right? Here's how good it was. It went over 2 ad breaks, covered 2 ad breaks. So the match itself, what we saw on TV was for half an hour. A match that lasted half an hour on TV, which means there's probably 5 minutes worth of ad breaks. That they're wrestling that you're not seeing. So it's probably a 40-minute or so match. Big bloke, like I said, Kevin Owens didn't get tired. Neither did Finn Balor, but then again, you wouldn't expect Finn Balor to get tired. It would be Kevin Owens out of either of them. I think Finn Balor has him down on cardio. Anyway, yeah, the match was awesome. It was awesome. That the spots they were doing, it was huge. Drawing the crowd in, many near falls, and in the end, it took a mistake from Balor where he got hurt off of. Because I think the story of the match was basically Finn Balor worked on the legs. Kevin Owens worked on the legs of Finn Balor, and then when Finn Balor went for the coup de grace, which is a big diving double foot stomp off the top rope, he hurt his ankle, hurt his leg, and his shin, whatever. Couldn't go for the pin. Kevin Owens managed just to get up and hit the pop-up powerbomb for the finish, and it was a really good match. I've got to say, it's one of those matches that if you watch it, you would get it. You understand why people enjoy watching wrestling, because when wrestling produces stuff and matches like that, it's so good. It's so entertaining. That's what the fans want to see. Okay, here, yeah, there's always going to be a place for the promo to build the match, and we love epic verbal confrontations so long as they're epic. But here's the thing. We're wrestling fans, which means we want to see wrestling. We want to see good wrestling. The thing with NXT is on NXT they are proving you can have good matches for the phones going off. They have proven you can have good matches in like 8 minutes, which the main roster is not doing so much right now. It's like you really need. I think the main roster should really just try and step its game up. That said, I think the backroom staff are different back there, are different on the main roster, so I think just certain things in the main roster are shunned. And that's a shame. In a real big way, that's a very big shame, because I think a lot of talent on the main roster is capable of putting together an epic match. It's just they're not being allowed to do it. And that's a shame. Like I say, it's a shame. Nothing you can do about it, though. I think it's more a Vince McMahon thing than anything else, really. I don't know why. He just doesn't seem to like wrestlers wrestling, which is weird because that's what his brand company is all about. But you know what? I bashed WWE last week. Let's not do it again. Let's just say that this match was one of those where wrestling fans could really enjoy it because it was a great wrestling match. And yeah, non-wrestling fans would probably get wrestling, right? So question, how long has this show been going for? Only half an hour. It's not really enough. Problem is, not a huge amount I can talk about, in all honesty. There really isn't. Like I said, because I just didn't have enough time to prepare this episode. No fault of my own, but I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I've kind of teased about as much as I can from this. I don't think it's been that bad a show, really. Not really. Could have been a lot worse, considering the lack of prep. Could have been a whole lot worse. All right, see, here comes that half-developed thought again. Total fucker, this half-developed thought. What is it? Come on, try harder thought. What is it? There's a thought in my head, and it wants to come out. It wants to come out, but it's not coming out. Something happened. Something happened. That's what it is. Something happened in the news. Is that, yeah. Jeremy Clarkson has officially been sacked by the BBC. It happened! That was the thought! That was it! That was the one! Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson has officially been sacked by the BBC, which now poses the question, what's going to happen to Top Gear? What's going to happen to Jeremy Clarkson from here? And I've heard he's going to suffer police questioning. I think Jeremy Clarkson will probably be okay. Probably. But whatever. Well, that Top Gear. A lot of people think that Jeremy Clarkson is the brand. He isn't. Jeremy Clarkson just isn't the Top Gear brand. I think the thing is, Jeremy Clarkson has been slowly losing interest since the Bridge Over the River Cock episode, where where the term about slope was made, which is a slur against Asian people. For those of you who don't know, ever since then, he's been getting hard to defend, and I think he's slowly been losing his position as top guy in that brand. And then, of course, the FKL incident in the Falklands. It's like, oh, really? And they tried to tell the public they had no idea the Porsche they had that number plate on it. Bullshit. They knew exactly, because they were planning an episode to Argentina. They knew, they thought it would be funny. They thought they were being clever, as always. We know, just admit it. You were trying to be funny and it backfired. Just admit it. We know the FKL thing was planned. It just had to have been. It's too perfect. It's too perfect. We're going to the Falklands. Oh, what kind of stupid Top Gear humor can we do? Reference to the Falklands War of the number plate. It's just the type of thing that Top Gear does. And you can't seriously tell us that that's not what you intended. Anyway, point is, Jeremy Clarkson's been losing support over that. Of course, he'll always have his diehards. There'll always be diehard Jeremy Clarkson fans. But the thing is, the brand is more what they are as a team. Of course, Jeremy Clarkson being gone is one member of that team missing, and now you have to try and replace him. Don't know how they're going to do that. I really don't. I've already weighed in with who I want to see replace him, and that's Chris Harris. Don't really think I need to go on about Chris Harris too much. I mean, I've already told you everything I know. I've already told you he is the authority. Wrong. No, he is the god of entertaining car reviews. Nobody on this planet does better car reviews than Chris Harris. No one at all does better car reviews than Chris Harris. Chris Harris Okay, here's the thing, right? You get car magazines like Car Magazine, you get Autocar, you get Evo, you get Drive Network in America, you get all sorts of these. Motor Trend. They all have a YouTube channel. They all make videos about the cars that they're reviewing. None of them, even with their immense budget that comes with being a magazine and magazine sales, can even get close to what the now independent Chris Harris is doing. Chris Harris blows all of them away, and he's probably got a fraction of the budget, and he's producing much better stuff, much higher quality, much just better everything, really. And it's just, you know what his special recently that he did about about Chris Harris Car of the Year. You know what, that reminded me so much of the old Clarkson DVDs that he used to do, just better. Because they're just few little things, a few little skits in it where they had a bit of fun, and it was funny. So yeah, Chris Harris is, and look, here's the thing: plug Chris Harris into Top Gear, give Chris Harris that kind of a budget to play with. I would love to see what he could produce, and I'm pretty sure he would drag that show up and make that show legitimate again. Because at the moment, it's just a silly entertainment show. It's really not a legitimate car review show. It's not legitimate in that way at all. And if you bring Chris Harris into that, then you get a certain air of legitimacy back. That's my opinion. You also have the guy right here, the Stig. Now the thing with the Stig is the brand of Top Gear. Stig is on all the merchandise, not Jeremy Clarkson. Well, okay, yeah, Jeremy Clarkson's on the cover of a couple of the books. He's on the DVD, but the Stig, he's on the lunchbox. He is the shampoo dispenser. He's everything. The Stig is the merchandise powerhouse of Top Gear. So long as they have Stig, they will be fine without Clarkson. It will still make money, and it will still be viewed, because the Stig is a Stig, and Stig, I think, is a bigger draw. That's just my opinion. You can have any three presenters as long as you have the Stig, pretty much. So yeah, Top Gear, I think, will be fine. Of course, the other thing that's in the news, Zayn. Yeah, Zayn left One Direction. Guess he just didn't like the direction the band was going. Don't blame him. It's a shit band. Then again, I'm not their target audience, so I guess I would think they're a shit band. But I think they're a shit band. Take that opinion with a pinch of salt. It's just my opinion, and my opinion. I could wipe a cockatoo's ass with my opinion. I know that. It's just, whatever. Good on him. He doesn't need to work at all. I think Zayn's worth something like £60 million, 600 million, more than that. It's more than that. I know it's more than that. Come on, John. You know he's worth more than that. Fuck it. Let's find out. I just got to stop swearing. Let's find out how much he is actually worth, shall we? Let's find out how much Zayn, whatever his face is, Zayn from One Direction, Zayn Malik. Is that it? Malik? It's Malik, isn't it? Zayn Malik. Yes, that's him. Left it over stress of speculation. Whatever. Let's find his net worth. Net worth 2014. Whatever. How much has Popstar Life left him? Okay. I'm looking for a figure here. So Cal signed the band. Oh, okay, so I'm actually over. He's worth $23 million. Okay, so he doesn't have to do any work for the rest of his life, let's be honest. Doesn't have to. All he has to do is come back to the occasional reunion show, and he's golden. So, well, good on him. You know what? If I could work for 5 years, have a load of female fans want to have sex with me because of a load of songs about meaningless love and how they think they're ugly when they're not, whatever. If I could make 23 million doing that for 5 years, fine, I'm sorted. I mean, it's not like the girls are gonna suddenly stop wanting to have sex with me because I'm still Zayn from former of One Direction, so that's still a pretty hot draw. And I've still got $23 million. So, yay, I don't have to do any more work and then occasionally just come back to an occasional One Direction reunion gig, whatever. Simple's done. That's your working life over at the age of 22. You know what? Why not? Good on you. Why stick around with One Direction if you don't even need them? You know, whatever. I'm sure being in One Direction's fun and all, but fucking media, man. See, the thing is, the media are pricks. They're all pricks who think they know everything and they know nothing. And the media will just say, oh, look, Zayn's done this. It must be true. It's like, no, it isn't. Shut up. You don't know anything. You don't know him. You think you know him, but you don't. Just because you follow him around everywhere doesn't mean you know that doesn't matter. They're all self-righteous pricks in the media, so I can kind of understand why you want to get away from them, I should say, not with them. It's the wrong thing. If you hate the media, you wouldn't want to get with them, would you? You want to get away from them. Anyway, I can understand where he's coming from with that. So yeah, why would you continue working? You've got 23 million in the bank. It's like, fuck you. It's like, fuck you. I don't need to work. I'm just going to retire, sit back and play an Xbox for the next 40 years of my life. Why not? You know, I would. Make no bones about it. I would. I'd just go out, buy myself a Ferrari and retire. Why not? You know, I mean, on 23 million, you could live off the interest that you make. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's just say I spend 10 million of it right now. Let's put 10 million in the bank on a 2% interest rate. What's that? 200,000 a month, I think. I think interest pays monthly. Even if it only pays yearly, 200 grand a year. You can live on that really easily. Nearly everybody on the planet lives off less. So, yeah. That's what I would do. I'd be like, dude, don't bother me. I'm retired. I've got enough money to buy every new Jag that Jaguar ever produces. So, you know, I'm good. All I have to do is save up 2 years to buy the next Ferrari Sports Car, and I'm done. I've already spent 10 million of it, probably on the McLaren P1 and a nice, even bigger TV than that. And fuck, yeah, it's a pretty nice life he's got going for himself. And plus, it means we don't have to listen to One Direction make any more soppy, meaningless music. That said, they will probably continue to do so, just because the others haven't left the group yet. It's not quite One Direction. It'd be like having Queen without Freddie Mercury. No, it wouldn't be like that at all. That's a massive insult to Queen. I don't know why I said that. I'm very sorry. You know what? I want to apologize right now to everybody on the planet for comparing Zayn leaving One Direction as being similar to Freddie Mercury leaving Queen. I very much humbly apologize. I did not think that thought through. I would commit suicide over this heinous atrocity against music, but I haven't got anything to do it with. And plus, I'm too lazy. I hope you will accept my apology for this. I am very sorry. I am so very, very sorry. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I think I've made every point I want to make. There's another thought which randomly popped into my head just now, but I can't think of what it is. Anyway, I think I've managed to get an extra 10 minutes out of this episode with some yes, I have. Now I've got it out to 50 minutes. That's much more like it. That's a better host, bro. It's not been a bad show for a one-man show, I don't think. So I'm quite happy. I would also like to just reiterate the point. Guys, send in your questions to us and we can get a Q&A thing going here in the vein of Respawn Inbox. If you guys remember that show, that's kind of the thing I'm thinking of here, kind of going for that. You know, somewhere where I can answer your questions, because you guys are a massive untapped resource. There's more of you than ever before, and that's a big thank you to all 670 of you that subscribed. That's a lot more than I ever thought I would ever have. Yeah, and it'd be awesome to take full advantage of every single one of you by sending in questions. So if we can do that, that would be cool. For now, thank you for watching. I'm Glenn Chun, and you aren't.